Recording. All right, so welcome to, this is week 6 of Virtual Ready Camp. And I was just mentioning that Damien is going to join us by virtual recordings of the videos from this week because he's at Boy Scout camp. And I haven't heard from Rayanne yet, or any of the others that they will be joining late or anything like that. But anyway, so our week this week is emergency management. And so Tom and Kevin, who is on, and Paul are going to really take the lead for this week. And I'm here just to help in whatever way I can. And Daniel says hi in the chat. So hi, Daniel. And hi to everyone. So we were just talking about our weekend. And so we had a very exciting one, welcoming in a new grandchild. So anyway, did anyone else have a exciting weekend? Anything happen that was really exciting you want to share? No? Okay. All right. So Tom, do you want me to show the video or do you want to do that?
Oh, you can go ahead and bring it up.
Okay.
That'd be perfect.
All righty. I will.
Every time I go to do it, I have issues with my computer or something.
Oh, yep. All righty. Sounds good. I will bring up the video on YouTube. And hold off 1 minute. I'm going to share my screen here. I'm starting to get used to this stuff, so. All right. Are you ready, Tom?
Yep.
Okay, can you see the video?
Yes.
All right, sounds good. I will put it at full screen. And
Hello,
there you go.
And welcome to week 6. Today we're going to be talking about the incident command system. That is when to lead and how to lead. A big part of
Frame up a little bit, please.
Sure.
Being able to lead your people is you have to have team members. And in order for your team members to be productive,
Is that 100%?
here's some of the things that we put together that make a positive team member. Always be there for your team. Making sure that your team knows that you're there, you're dedicated, and you're definitely going to help out no matter what. Communicate. Communicate is really big when you are dealing with a lot of people, so that everybody knows exactly what's going on and when to do different things. So if you have someone that's communicating, it's best if you have time to stop and listen to the person that's talking. Jump in and help out. Always make sure that if there's a job to be done, don't wait to be asked to help. Always jump in and help out. Share your ideas. You do count. So you may be the one sitting back saying, boy, it'd be much easier if we just did it this way, or it could be done faster if we do it this way. Make sure that you share those ideas so that the people on your team can know that you're thinking about them and trying to help out the best you can. Be flexible. Sometime in an emergency, you get to be very rigid. We have to do this. We have to do this right now. But if you're doing something, if it doesn't work, make sure that you're flexible enough to say, okay, well, we've been doing it this way. It's not making any progress. Let's go ahead and be flexible and try something else. And again, that works as a problem solver. Something you're doing not working, make sure that you come up with another reason or another way to do something so that you're trying to solve that problem. Are huge in being a part of a big team is being respectful and supportive. So if you're a team member that doesn't really like to give up a lot of information, they're kind of shy, they kind of stand back, they'll do whatever you're asked. But if they feel like they're, when they do speak up and say, hey, what about this? No one listens to them, they don't respect them, they're not going to offer it up again. So one of the things that you want to do is make sure you treat everybody the way that you want to be treated so that they can feel comfortable and offer up suggestions when they have them. One thing that I always say is not one of us is as smart as all of us. We have to work together as a team to come up with different ways on how to get things done. So understanding ICS, or the Incident Command System, this system provides common language, effective communication, and understanding among the team members. It's a well-defined management structure And it also provides accountability. Now, the common language means that at the end of this presentation, hopefully you'll be able to give me a definition of what an incident commander does, or what the operations and logistics, our administration person, what they do. So in an emergency, if someone says, hey, we need to get some things from the logistics person, you'll know exactly what that logistics person does, and you'll be able to accomplish that goal. It's a well-defined management structure. Now, how many of us likes to be told what to do by multiple people? It's confusing, it's not very effective. So the incident command system provides a very clear, definite, well-defined management structure to where you have to report to one person, and then that person reports to somebody, and that person reports to somebody, eventually until you get to the incident manager or the incident commander. And it also provides accountability. The accountability is so that everybody on the incident is accounted for, so that no one's left behind, so that we don't lose people. Accountability is making sure. MJ, you're still able to hear it?
I don't have any audio either.
MJ, can you hear us? We lost MJ. I can see her talking.
You're muted.
Okay, I muted myself, so then I must have muted that. So where should I go back to?
Right there.
Okay. Sorry.
It's okay. On the incident is accounted for, so that no one's left behind, so that we don't lose people. Accountability is making sure that things get done in a way that the incident commander then can assure that his or her goals are being met. So if you are able to write down what the incident command system looks like, this is what it would look like on paper. So you would have the incident commander, and that is the person that's in charge. So the person that is going to be drawing up the objectives, making sure that everything's taken care of, that's the incident commander. And the incident commander, like in the fire service or any other type of emergency situation, it's the first responder on scene. So if there was a tornado in your community and you're the first person that walks outside and starts assessing the damage, you are then called the incident commander. Now, sometimes the least experienced person can be put in that incident commander role. Well, we train everybody how to be an incident commander, but if you're not comfortable with it, that's understandable, because someone that has a little more experience or has been doing it a little bit longer is going to be more comfortable with it. And as that person arrives on location, then the incident commander can turn over the incident commander position to somebody else. If you have big incidents like first thing that pops into my head is when the World Trade Centers went down. That lasted for weeks, if not months, with an incident commander. And obviously that person can't be awake the whole time, so you have to swap out your leadership roles, and it can be done very easily. But it's that person's responsibility to come up with the objectives on how he or she wants to mitigate or lessen the problem that you guys are dealing with. So that person, sometimes if the incident gets really large, they can't do it all on their own, and they're going to need help. So underneath the incident commander here, you'll see that there's an operations, a logistics, a planning, and administration. So with the ready team that we're going to teach you guys, These are the specific roles that you guys are going to have. So the incident commander is going to have operations in charge when there is a lot of people, as in too many people for one person to handle. So operations is the person that's in charge of the workers. And we're going to see that on the next slide. Okay. The next one is logistics. So if we need to get stuff for the incident scene, whether we need to get a bunch of porta potties, we need to get a bunch of lighting. If it gets dark out, we need some lighting. Anything that the incident commander needs, they're going to go to logistics and say, hey, can you set this up? We need to get these things coming in. If we have to evacuate a bunch of people from the area, the best way to do that is on buses. So the incident commander is going to say, can you get me 15 buses from the local bus companies, and we will start getting these people evacuated from the area. If they have a planning person in charge or in place, that planning person isn't trying to outthink the incident commander, because again, the incident commander has his or her objectives to be met. The planning person is thinking ahead. Now, what I mean by that is if they're doing an incident that's outside and the planning person is looking at anything and everything that can affect the operations or the incident. So when the planning person looks ahead and says, wow, there's going to be a really big storm moving through the area in about 4 hours, they're going to go back to the incident commander and say, listen, I looked at the weather reports and we have a huge storm moving through in about 4 hours. It's going to be here. Do you think this incident's going to be done by then? Or these are some of the things that you'll have to start to prepare for this storm, because it is coming and it'll be here within so many hours. So that's what the planning person is doing, is they're helping the incident commander kind of see what might be coming ahead. Okay? And the last one is administration. During an emergency scene, sometimes it's important to, like I said, call in buses and call in porta potties and big, huge lighting and things like that. Well, all that stuff costs money. The incident commander doesn't really care about that. The incident commander just needs the things that they need to fix the incident. So if I'm in the fire truck and I'm the incident commander and I say I need to get a bunch of buses here, I'm not worried about paying for those buses. I'm worried about those buses getting here to take care of the people. But the person that's in administration, they're figuring out what it's going to cost, and they're keeping tabs on that, because the bus company eventually will want to be paid for the buses being there to help evacuate people out of the scene. So that's what administration does. Operations, again, is in charge of the people, which we're going to see in the next slide. Logistics, they're in charge of getting you stuff. Planning is in charge of what's coming ahead that the incident commander might need to prepare for. And again, administration is the one that's keeping tabs on the price. So now if we just focus under operations, this is what it looks like. Now you guys have been taught fire safety, you've been taught search and rescue, and you've been taught first aid, and you're gonna be learning CPR, so the medical portion of it. So under operations, we have 3 divisions in itself. We have fire suppression, search and rescue, and medical, okay? Now you can see that underneath fire suppression, we have fire suppression team A, B, C, and then the staging. We have search and rescue teams A, search and rescue teams B, search and rescue team C. And then in medical, we have triage teams, we have treatment teams, and we have the morgue. Unfortunately, if you are dealing with people in a search and rescue operations and they're not labeled red because of their injuries, they could be labeled black, and those people are obviously the ones that are dead. So somebody has to be in charge of that. And the way that operations works, so if the incident commander says that we need to do a search of this building over here, they're gonna go to the operations person and tell them, hey, we need to search, get some teams together and go search this building. The operations person is gonna go down to the search and rescue group leader and say, put 3 teams together and go over and search this area and make sure that this building is clear. So the search and rescue group leader is gonna go pick their teams, and then the teams are gonna go over and take care of what was just requested by the group leader. Once team A, team B, and team C complete their task, they come back and say that no one was found, everybody was found, we found 2 people, they're triaged, and then they're gonna report that to the group leader. The group leader is gonna go back to operations and tell operations that the building has been searched and they found somebody or they didn't find anybody. And then the operations person then is going to go to the incident commander and tell the incident commander what was just reported by the search and rescue group leader. Confusing? Maybe. But here is the reason why we have so many steps and so many people in these leadership roles during a large incident. Now you can see the number of people that are under fire suppression, right? There's, 8 people there. We have, search and rescue teams can be anywhere from 2 people to 5 people teams. So we can have the workers underneath each of the search and rescue group leader, the fire suppression group leader, and the medical group leader. We can have a lot of people underneath those positions. So let's say we have 60 people in all 3 of these divisions. And why wouldn't the search and rescue team just go up to the incident commander and tell them that the building's been searched? The reason is because that incident commander would be very overwhelmed if every one of the workers went to them and said that they just completed this is done, this is done. That's why we break everything down and we have steps that we have to follow. So in the incident command system, the incident commander has 4 people that the incident commander listens to. Underneath operations, you can see that the operations person has 3 different people that they have to listen to. Fire suppression in this model has 1, 2, 3, 4 people that they have to listen to. If you have 4 people coming up to you all at once, it's very easy to manage that conversation than it is to have 60 people come up to you at once telling you what they just completed. So that's why we have everything breaking down this way, so that it's very defined as to who you would report to. And it makes it easier for you as a search and rescue team or a fire suppression team to understand that you have to take directions from your group leader only. So as I was saying before, the purpose of the incident command system, it will control the situation. So it maintains safety, and we do that through accountability. It provides clear leadership, kind of like what I just explained, as far as you only having one person that you have to essentially listen to. And then that one person reports to one person, and then eventually gets up to the incident commander. It improves the effectiveness of the rescue efforts. And it does that by the incident commander has, again, his or her objectives that have to be met. So once the building's been searched, it's been crossed off of the incident commander's list, and it won't go back. The incident commander knows that it's taken care of, so they won't have to send any more teams over to search that building because it's already been taken care of. So again, incident command. The incident commander will need to, again, in the beginning, identify the size of the incident. So what just happened, what needs to be fixed, okay? And they're going to determine what needs to happen next based on what they're looking at or based on their size up. And then they're going to deploy the resources as needed. So like I said, the incident command system can be very complex with all the team members in play, or if the incident commander can just handle the small emergency, they don't have to put an operations person in charge. They don't have to put the planning person in charge or the logistics person. The incident commander can take care of it themselves because it's a small incident. If it's a large incident, then yes, they're going to have to take those, let's call them tools, out of their toolbox and place the operations person in charge of the people, and then put the logistics person in charge of getting stuff. That way the incident commander isn't very overwhelmed with all the tasks that need to be done. They would just simply pass that task on to somebody else and wait for that person to complete it, as the incident commander then can deal with other incidents that's taking place, and then eventually all the tasks will be completed. So that is the incident command system. As you can see, and as we talked about, it is a very defined way of knowing when to lead and how to lead if the event ever happens or the incident ever takes place. So if you have any questions, feel free to email either myself or Mary Jean, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Have a good day and enjoy the rest of Ready Camp.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for Tom?
Brian and Pam, you're gonna start off our day.
Video is planned.
Oh, another video is? Oops. Oops. That's
Okay,
Whoop, whoop,
I'd
whoop.
like to thank y'all, all the parents and everyone that came. Also like
Okay, sorry. That was from Ready Camp last year.
Nice.
Yeah, so everyone will have to check out our YouTube channel. I'll just put it here. Let's see here. I'll put the link in the chat box, okay? All right. So back to, anyone have any questions for Tom?
Or if Paul and Kevin have
Paul,
anything
Kevin,
to add.
and I see Amy just joined us too. So
Hey, MJ. Yeah, sorry, I had a call that ran way over today, but I was supposed to end at 12:15. But I wanted to hop on still for the last few minutes here.
not a problem at all. Thank you. Welcome, and thank you for joining us. So yeah. Anyone have any questions?
No, I thought Tom did a really good job. One of the things that you'll see when we're on an incident scene is it looks very different depending on what that incident is. So if we go to a car accident on the interstate, we might have the state patrol and fire and EMS all under the same structure, and might just have a couple people in charge managing that if it's a smaller incident. But if we go to a big apartment fire, it's going to be mostly fire managing the incident. You might see a little bit of EMS and a little bit of law enforcement, but that incident commander is going to be from fire. So it's very flexible, and we can change things wherever we're at, but we try to use that same titles and same structure no matter what that incident is, big or small. So I think that's something that is fascinating to folks or sometimes confuses them. Just because we're using incident command, it doesn't have to be a fire incident or a medical. It could be any of those or COVID. We switch out the agency that's taking lead on things and work together in the same structure so that we can be efficient.
Absolutely. And there's also something called unified command. And that is where you have a representative for fire, police, and EMS. And like a school shooting, if I'm there representing fire, then I'm not going to know what the police officers are doing. And if I, as the incident commander, say something that is going to affect how the police are taking care of the scene, that's going to throw a big wrench into stuff. So if you have multiple divisions or multiple entities represented, it's good to bring all those people into the incident command system. That way we can all work together to mitigate the problem that we're facing. Like I said, a school shooting or a mass shooting, something like that, you got all kinds of people coming in to help. So getting all their input to help fix the scene is going to be very, very important. On the other side of that, there's incidents that happen where we had one up in, I forgot the name of the city here in Wisconsin, where the firefighter was killed because of bad incident command. It's up where my wife is from. Anyway.
By Wausau?
Abbotsford.
What is it?
Abbotsford.
Yes, Abbotsford. Yes, where the firefighter was killed. So in that situation, there was two different fire companies that went to put the theater that was on fire, wanted to put the theater out, and they were on either side of the building. They weren't talking to each other. They had no idea what the other person was doing. So when the one incident commander ordered everybody out of the building because he got word that the building was going to collapse, the other incident commander didn't know that, and he had firefighters up on the roof. So the person either fell through the roof or the roof came down on him. So obviously it's, having a good, having everybody on the same page is definitely going to help. And that's what the incident command system does. Like Kevin mentioned, it can be used not only for emergency incidents. I mean, they use the incident command system when they set up a Super Bowl or a big, huge event like that, community event. There's always someone in charge, and then they have the other people then taking on different responsibilities to lessen the load that one person has to do. It could also be, think about it for a wedding, the bride is the incident commander, and then the day of the event turns it over to somebody else because she's busy getting married, you know? So it can be seen in a lot of different ways. Maybe not recognized at first as incident command system, but it's definitely there if there's a structure on who's in charge.
Anyone else have anything to add from emergency management? Because this will be recorded and others will be able to view it afterwards.
I'm so used to seeing their smiling faces and we don't see anybody today.
Jordan was on.
There's
There
Jordan.
you
Did
go.
we lose Rayanne? Was she on?
No, she hasn't joined today.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
So for Kevin and Rochelle, you're new on today. We have participants from Wisconsin, Texas. We've had one from California. And then Janice is from Michigan. And I think I've gotten everyone, isn't it? Isn't that everyone? So yeah, so we're from all over.
That's exciting. That is really great.
Yeah.
Has Kevin been introduced to the?
No, go ahead and introduce yourself, Kevin and Rochelle.
I'm Kevin Ornett. I work for Wisconsin Emergency Management, so I get to work with Paul a lot. My day job, I work in exercise and training, so I train people on incident command and help communities exercise their disaster plans or practice it as realistic as we can. And then when we have emergencies, I work in the State Emergency Operations Center, typically as a planning section chief, but because I teach everybody else how to do that, I get to work just about everywhere. And for COVID, I'm doing personal protective equipment, and I've been a planning section chief and a safety officer and writing plans and mortuary affairs, but that's not the fun part of it.
Okay. And we can have everyone just introduce yourself because of this is a new week and it will be recorded. And so Rochelle first, you can start, and then Amy and Paul and Tom.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. I'm Rochelle Eithun. I am the Injury Prevention Manager at American Family Children's Hospital here in Madison, Wisconsin. A lot of you know my better half, Tom. He has been participating in all of this for quite a bit. You guys will see me a lot more in August when we do the advocacy and injury prevention things. We got some really unique things lined up to do and educate and show you on. So I'm excited. Thank you all for joining.
Great. And Amy?
Sure, yeah. So I am Amy Piffini. I am an emergency management specialist with FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency. So if you've watched the video for any of the videos for the first week, I was involved in the first week talking about FEMA. And I have been working with Ready Camp now for a few years to support however we can. And I'll be in and out this week. I've got a really crazy week this week, but you know, I'll try to be on as often as possible. But you know, I know that we've already kind of gotten the emergency preparedness and like federal level emergency management. So I know that this is more for like local state operations, education. So I was hoping to be a part of it however I can.
Excellent. We love to have you be part of it whenever you can too. So Tom and Paul?
I'm Tom Eithun. I'm a captain with the Oregon Fire Department here in Oregon, Wisconsin, not the state. And I've been with Ready Camp since it started, since the very first camp that we had in Chippewa Falls many years ago.
Paul?
Well, I'm Paul Cook, and my better half runs this camp, and I apologize for the background noise. My office sits overlooking the Air Force Base, and they're launching F-15s right now. So if it gets loud, that's what they're doing. Anyhow, my day job is I'm the Bureau Director for Response and Recovery at Wisconsin Emergency Management. And this week we're going to be talking about exactly what that is, what emergency management is all about. We're going to be talking about the role of the emergency manager at the state and local level. And we're going to be talking about emergency operations centers and hopefully give you a tour of the State Emergency Operations Center that Kevin was just talking about. We have had activated since March 12th. It's getting kind of old. We actually have gone virtual with that, and we're going to talk a little bit about what that means too. So that's it's great that we were able to do that. So I know that you touched on in your first week, you touched on emergencies and disasters, and we're going to spend some time talking about that this week also. But by way of background, I think those of you that have been done, I think all of you I've been introduced to already. My career is in the fire service, so that's my I guess my first passion. Oh no, I mean my wife is my first passion. My second passion was firefighting. So.
Okay. Jordan, Daniel, and Janice, you want to say anything?
Sure. I'm Jordan. I'm from Milwaukee, and I'm going to be a junior next year.
Great. Daniel? Okay. Janice, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, my name is Janice. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and I'll be a sophomore in high school in the fall.
Great. And you're a member of Amy's Region 5 Youth Preparedness Council too also, right, Janice?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's my first year.
Awesome. That is amazing. Thank you for doing that. Daniel, are you able to unmute yourself?
Daniel answered in text.
Okay. He says he's from Milwaukee and he'll be in the 8th grade this year. So thank you, Daniel. That's great. And I am Mary Jean, or MJ, and have been involved with Ready Camp and with an excellent team of people that you're going to meet throughout the whole summer in different weeks. And every single one of them are dedicated, very dedicated to making this the best experience possible for all of you who are Ready Campers. As we mentioned in the past, we've been live and in person in the past, and this is the first time we're doing this virtually, and we're just so excited that people can join. Campers can join us daily throughout the week, or they can watch the videos on YouTube. And Damien had asked the question, if you're not able to watch the video in person, are you still able to earn rewards, which have been Amazon gift cards? If you can do that, if you're not able to be here. And we really want everyone to participate in person if possible, but we understand that things come up. And so if you're not able to come up, you still can earn those gift cards. So just wanted to answer that question also, because Damien is going to be watching this afterwards. So, all right. And always, as always, just send us an email if you have any questions or anything comes up related to any of the items that we've discussed or any topics that we've discussed throughout the week, and let us know how we can make this better for everyone. And Paul, you mentioned you were going to have an activity, or was it Tom?
Yeah, I have a little assignment for everyone. So are you able to share the screen with me? Is that possible?
I think so. Hold on.
Do I have to request that, or?
Nope, I have to do it on here. Okay, you should be able to share your screen now.
Okay. Can you see this?
Nope.
What do I have to do to share the screen?
You go down to the bottom and it says share screen. Click on the
Okay.
green box
Stand-
and then you
stand-
have to click on the screen that you want to share.
Okay.
I've had to learn this through the summer.
Do you see it now? Oh,
Nope.
not yet.
There
Now?
you go.
Okay. So as part of the emergency management, we're, like I mentioned, we're going to talk more about emergencies and natural disasters. And here's a list of some of the types of emergencies and natural disasters we'll be doing a little bit of a deeper dive on this week and talking about. But to prepare you for that, I'd like you to do a little bit of homework. I'd like you to do a little bit of research. So you have two questions to answer. What's the most frequent type of natural disaster where you live? That's either in your area or your state. And what's the worst natural disaster in your state's history? And give me a description. You know, what year was it, and where was it located, the type of damage, whatever detail you want to provide about it. So if it was an earthquake or a hurricane or a tornado, I guess we don't have too many hurricanes up here in Wisconsin or Detroit, but tornadoes and but I want it to be a natural disaster. I mean, most of us, if you say, well, what's the most frequent emergency, it's going to be home fires or something like that. But when we talk about natural disasters, what's the most frequent where you live from that list above there? And what's the worst one in your state's history? And then describe it. And I'll send this slide out to you all so you have it to reference. But we're gonna talk about that tomorrow. Okay.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
What's space weather?
Space weather. Well, we're going to talk more in detail about space. Actually, I think Kevin's a good one to talk about space weather.
Well, that's so when there's a space weather, electromagnetic activity in the sun, sunspots that throws out magnetic pulses. We commonly see those as the northern lights. But when you get an excessive amount or there's a lot of activity in the sun, right now we're in a very dormant stage. So when we come out of that, we're probably going to see some of this. As those electromagnetic pulses or electromagnetic spectrum events hit the planet, they start to interfere with radio communication. They can disrupt GPS because the satellites are up in space that are working, making the GPS work. Or in some cases, they can cause the entire electrical grid to fluctuate or cause problems there. So we have, over time, seen problems with GPS, telephone communication, radio communication. But a few years ago, there was a big event, and it actually shut off the power in part of Canada for a couple of days because of all the interference it was causing. Is that what you're looking for, Paul?
Absolutely. You did a far better job than I would have.
I learned something new today. I had never heard of space weather before.
Yeah, actually, when we do our briefings, not for COVID, but when we're having storm or disaster responses, the National Weather Service briefs out the weather for us and then the aviation weather, and they'll brief out space weather so that we can understand if there's going to be any communication or GPS disruptions that might impede or interfere with our response.
Cool.
All right. So are there any questions about the your homework assignment? It doesn't have to be anything fancy, just something we can talk about tomorrow.
Hey, Paul.
Paul.
Oh, this is Amy. I have a question just in case somebody experiences what I just experienced when I decided to look up really quickly out of curiosity the worst disasters from my own state where I'm from originally, Kentucky. And the worst disaster was listed as being, or the second worst disaster was listed as being man-made. but still really large scale. So it was water contamination from coal mines. So it was like very specific to that region. Just in case anybody else comes across something like that in their, you know, when they're doing their research, is that something that you're looking for, or do you want something a little more broad?
Yeah, I think I'm thinking more of a natural disaster. We're going to talk about the differences between technological and man-made disasters versus. I mean, we certainly could be talking about the situation in Michigan also. That's more of a technological disaster, but I really want this focus to be on natural disasters tomorrow.
So for instance, in Peshtigo, Wisconsin, when the lightning bolt started the big, huge fire, that would be considered a natural disaster.
Right,
Yep.
right.
Did you just answer the question, Tom?
What's that?
Did you just answer the question?
I just gave an example.
It sure sounds like Paul's trying to get them to do a hazard assessment so that we can develop mitigation plans or make sure we have good training for those kind of things.
Something like that.
Good deal.
All right.
All right.
Jordan's still smiling, so I guess that.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Right.
All right. Any other questions? Again, I'll ask MJ to send this slide out to you all.
Sounds good. All right. I will also send the link to the YouTube channel to everyone too. So, okay.
Perfect.
All right. Anyone have any other questions before we go? All right, good. Everyone have a great evening, and we'll talk to everyone at 12:30 tomorrow. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.